Good evening.
Good evening.
Peace to each and every one of you. I want to first start by just saying I come in the name of God, the Most High.
Amen.
Jesus as my Savior. And that's how I stand here. I'm grateful to be a part of Stewart Speaker Series. It's an honor to be here. Brother Raphael, thank you. And black people, we like to kiss too. We all together, blacks, Latinos, we all in the same boat. Well, it's an honor to be here to speak. And as Brother Raphael said, I do several things, and I'm very grateful and feel blessed to be able to speak and to be able to be an actor and to be able to be an activist. But I did get my start in hip-hop. So I like to start it off always with a good freestyle or something for the people that do that. So, thank you, Carlos. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, the piano, I felt him. I said, thank you, Carlos, and he said, you're welcome. Yeah, it's all good. Check it out. Coming off the head, I said respect to my man, Rafael Sanchez. Yeah, he's from Channel 6. We all in the mix. My man, Matt, yo, he put us in the mix, in the fix to come and speak. I do it right here at the beginning of the week. It's a Monday. One way down the street, take it down 38. It's consensual. I told you I'm really great. I let you know how it is. These styles I explore. Earlier today, I was with Pastor Moore. We was at Olivet. We was out there, out on the side. You know how it is. I'm from the south side of Chicago. This is how I do when I rap. I'm always giving love to my people in the nap. Cause you know how it is. Yo, my style never get stuck. I came like to Indianapolis like Andrew Luck to bring a little luck right here. I got the cheer right there. It's no fear when I come with no hair. The bald headed, some of y'all are dreaded. Some got weaves, but anyway it goes, we all here to receive a little bit of love. And that's how I do. I come through with my crew. Yo, you know how I do. It's like this. Sometimes they say, Constance, you speak though. You from Chicago, go to St. Elmo's. But I was like, chill, yo. I keep on switching up the style. They say, get some food from Country Kitchen. And I was like, it's all good. It's all real. You could go chill somewhere in Hallville. But I was like, yeah, I might go there. Maybe if I really care, go to Lafayette Square. So yeah, it's like this. So I said, praise the Lord. I'm keeping the pace like my man Paul George, bringing it back 13, 1, and the 3. Right here in Indianapolis, the style of Be Free. So even if you got a picture, you know who I am. Some of y'all taking that so you could put it on the gram. Or even after that, you know, I bust these raps. You might even put it on your Snapchat. You know how I speak. Just give this love to the Stewart Speaks. And even after that, yo, you can tweet. My man Carlos earlier gave me a beat or a little piano so y'all can take this. I came to Indianapolis to talk about greatness. Greatness. When I knew I was coming to Indianapolis, I feel really connected with you all because I'm from Chicago. And we all have this Midwest thing going. I don't think we too different from you all. We all are the same. And with that being said, I said, what can I talk to the people about tonight that really has inspired me, that has moved me? And that word greatness came to mind. Greatness. And I really embraced the word and embraced the thought because greatness is something that exists in each and every one of us in here. Whether it's the kids in the back, which I wish I was up front, saw love. Whether it's the elders sitting at the tables, no matter how old you are, no matter what your shape is, no matter how beautiful you are, greatness is in us, each and every one of us. In fact, you become more beautiful just by embracing your greatness. Well, This word greatness was something that I was thinking about for a long time. And one day, I was sitting with a gentleman named Ambassador Andrew Young. And he said, "What are you willing to die for? Live for that." Well, this was taking place at our first rehearsal for Selma, the movie. All of us actors stood around the table getting the opportunity to listen to Ambassador Andrew Young, who was part of this civil rights movement that we were depicting in the film. And the first words he said to us is, "What are you willing to die for? Live for that." Well, that was the mentality and the philosophy of the civil rights movement. Each and every one of them said, "What are you willing to die for? Live for it." Well, they were willing to die for freedom. They were willing to die for the vote. They were willing to die for equality, so they lived for it. Each and every day, they dedicated their lives to individuals who they didn't know so that they could have freedom. Each and every day, they served us before we were even born, and some of us before we even participated. What are you willing to die for? Live for that. I went home that night thinking, wow, what am I really willing to die for? I know I'm willing to die for my family. That's mostly every one of us in here. I know I'm willing to die for my family, but what am I really willing to die for outside of me? And what am I living for? Well, as I thought on the couch, because I was sitting there really contemplating, because, this is a life-changing moment for me to get to sit down with one of my heroes, Ambassador Andrew Young, and for him to put that on my mind, and for me to know that there was people who lived during those times whose names I don't even know that practiced this in their lives. So I thought, and I said, man, what am I living for? I'm a musician. I'm an actor. I have achieved some awards. I have achieved record sales. I've been out and traveled the world in many ways. My family is good, and I'm going to continue to take care of my family. But is that what I'm living for? Is that all that I'm living for? And I said, it can't be just that. I started feeling like I have to do more. I have to do more, not just achieve in my life, not just be like, okay, I'm this good artist. I'm like fresh, y'all. Check me out. Like, check out the awards. No, it's more to my life than that. It's more to my purpose. And I started to think, like, what do I want with my life? What do I want to achieve? What is my purpose? Because before we even came here, God already had a purpose for us. Before you even knew your name, the Lord had a purpose for you. Your thought was formed. Well, I started saying, hey, my purpose is something greater. And that word greatness came to me. My purpose is about greatness. And greatness can be defined in many different ways, but in the Common Dictionary, greatness is achieving your highest potential. In the Common Dictionary, make sure y'all get that, all right? With the other book that you can get that on the side. All right, it don't exist yet. It'll come at some point. Well, greatness in my book is using your gifts to perform at the highest level. And by doing so, you inspire others to reach their highest potential. Now, that means whatever you choose to do in your life, because you do it at a great level, it's inspiring other people to do it or do well at whatever they choose to do. That's why you can look at the people, like for me, one of my heroes, who we call the greatest, was Muhammad Ali. I was inspired by him just by seeing him, seeing what he spoke about, seeing what he stood for, seeing what he achieved as a boxer. But if you look at all the greats that we can go down the line from Michael Jordan to Aretha Franklin to Beyonce to Oprah Winfrey, these are people who, within their lives, within their spectrum of whatever dream they had as children and have achieved in their lives, they inspired all of us to be something and are using their lives to a greater place. Dr. Martin Luther King, he's still inspiring us right now. Gone in the physical, but still here as a spirit. His words will always resonate with us. That's greatness. And then I thought about the greatest, Jesus Christ. His greatness was so great that you could walk in a room and touch him and you healed. That's greatness. When you walk in a room people could feel and experience your greatness just by you being that and embracing that. Well, I knew I wanted that for my life. I knew I wanted that. I wanted it deep inside of me. But I didn't know how to get there. So as I sat on that couch, I started thinking and writing down things and just taking a little time. And I came up with this anecdote, with this idea about how to achieve greatness in my life. And I want to share it with you all. You have to find your purpose, believe in your purpose, and live your purpose. Now, to achieve greatness, I'll say it again, you have to find your purpose, believe in your purpose, and live it. Live your purpose. You know, as I said, the Creator has created us all here to give something to the world. There's only one you in this world. And it's up to us to discover what that purpose is, why did God put us here? We weren't just born for any reason just to walk the earth with no purpose. We all have something important to give. And there's nobody else that can measure how important your life is but you, first and foremost. Well, at the age of 12, I didn't know what my purpose was. I was a good student. I loved basketball. I loved music. And I can remember being in the English class where my English teacher would teach us a lot about Black history. And she told us this story. And I was 12 years old. At the same time, 12 years old, I had a blessed job. I was working for the Chicago Bulls as a ball boy, right? So as a ball boy, I was the visiting team's ball boy. So I would anytime a game was over, I would have to take the equipment under this tunnel, you know, from the visiting team's locker room to the home team's locker room. Well, my English teacher around this time, 12 years old, she told us this story and had us read about this young man named Emmett Till. Emmett Till was from Chicago like me, and at this time where the story took place, a true story, he was 14 years old, and he went in 1955 and went to visit his family down in Mississippi. Now, the ways of the North was different than the ways of the South, and Emmett Till didn't know the ways of the South all the way. And for those who don't know the story, Emmett Till went to go with his cousins to get some candy at a candy store, and he stood outside, and he saw this white woman that he thought was beautiful, and he whistled at her. He didn't know the level of disrespect that this woman felt that was. And later that night, her husband and his family members came and found Emmett Till in his uncle and aunt's house and drug him out of the house. And they beat him to death. And they threw him in a river. Now, when I read this at the age of 12, this shocked my system. And it just struck me. And I can remember going through the tunnel after the games. I was running through the tunnel after that. I was spooked going through the tunnel. Well, after 8 times of just running through the tunnel, because I was hearing things, feeling things, I decided to stop. I was the black guy in the Scary Movie. I got tough. I'm like, what's up? What's going on down here? And I felt this spirit. And I never used to share this with people because they always think you were crazy. But I felt this spirit. And it was like the spirit of Emmett Till telling me that I had something great in me. I had something great to give to the world. And I really felt it because I felt that his life had already been sacrificed for us to live. His mom chose to have an open casket so people would know the hate that hate produced. Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do at that time, but I just knew, hey, I felt the spirit that something great was in me, and I had something great to give to the world. As I said, I was a good student at the time. I had this teacher, my math teacher, who I loved, Mr. Brown. He kind of looked like Luther Vandross and stuff. And he would always, I would do something in his class. I'll share with y'all family. I would always pass gas in his class, right? I would do it on purpose, thinking I could get attention from the ladies like that, you know, because I was just acting a little crazy. Ladies, I know that ain't the way to do it now, right? But after multiple times of this happening in his class, Mr. Brown was like, quit acting a fool. You're greater than that. And though I didn't let Mr. Brown or anybody in the class know his words resonated with me, they did. I was really acting a fool for attention in a way that I didn't have to. I was greater than that. Well, I still didn't know what I wanted to be, but I knew greatness was in me. And I knew I was greater than the way I acted sometimes when I was out of character. Around the same time, at 12 years old, I was playing basketball, bitty basketball, in a league that was around my neighborhood. Now, I played on this team, well, during this league, the best players played in the first and fourth quarters, and the busters played in the second and third quarters. I was a second and third quarter player. And I would get in the games, and I got in my first game, didn't score any points, didn't get any assists. So I came back to the bench, and I sat down, and my feelings was hurt. I felt like I didn't do anything. I felt like unworthy. So I started crying, but I told my coach my stomach was hurting. So this happened 3 weeks straight. Not only did I get no points and no assists, but I sat down on the bench and started crying. Well, my uncle was the assistant coach, my Uncle Steve. So by the time I came back that third week and sat on the bench and was crying, he knew it was not real. He threw down his keys and started saying some words to me that I don't want to use around the elders, and some curse words, basically. That was like, but the gist of what he said was, if you want to be great at something, you need to train. You need to work. You have to put in work. If you want to be great, you have to work at it. You have to train. But the beauty about finding your purpose, finding what you really love, is not work. Khalil Gibran said in the book, The Prophet, work is love made visible. Work is love made visible. Can you imagine waking up every day doing something that you love? Think of how happy you would be. Think of how happy you will be. Or maybe think of how happy you are. Just being able to wake up and do something you love. Well, I love basketball, but I hadn't put in the work. So I started working on my game, dribbling every day before school, come home, do my homework, go out dribbling, go to the park playing. I asked my mom to give me a hoop in the yard. We eventually did that, and I was playing. I started getting into the games. I was point guard, so I was getting a lot of assists. Then I started scoring. The next year, I became a first and fourth quarter player. Next year, I made the All-Star team. Fast forward, y'all seen Just Right. I'm NBA material, right? I might want to be for the Pacers or something, right? But that came through hard work and practice and training. But that is training as something that you love. 12 years old, still don't know my purpose. Still don't know exactly what I want to do. I was sitting at home, or sitting at my cousin's home in Cincinnati. And we had some of our older friends was like this group called the Bond Hill Crew. They were like Cincinnati's Run DMC. And, you know, because they were our friends, we felt like, hey, they writing raps, they cool, let's write some raps. And I wrote my first rap with my cousin, and I'm going to kick it for y'all just so y'all can hear a little bit of it. I said, well, let me tell you about a trip. A time ago, I was going there to run a cold-blooded show. When I was there, I saw some people jamming too. They called themselves the Bond Hill Crew. Dr. Ice, Romeo, and Master E, all of the Bond Hill Crew, rapping to a T. I asked them, could they rock with me? That's all I remember from that time. That's all I remember. Little did I know that I had found my voice, that I had found my purpose, that I had found something that would allow me to express myself in ways that I never would just as a human being face to face with other human beings. I had found hip-hop culture, something that I related to because it was so much like me, so much of me. It was something that I loved to do, loved to listen to, woke up thinking about, and continue to wake up thinking about. Little did I know I had found something that I was so passionate about that would take me around the world, take me to Australia, that would take me to South Africa, that would take me to Japan, that would take me to the White House to meet the first black president and first lady, that would take me here to be a Stewart Speaker Series. I found my voice. I found my purpose. Now, mind you, when you find your purpose, you may develop many more purposes as they come. But I found my purpose. But that's only the beginning to greatness. Finding your purpose is only the beginning. And when you find your purpose, you got to know it's yours. This is your instinctive thing that you know because God created you to have it. He didn't say, no, I'm going to give it to your mother, but it's yours. He didn't say, no, I'm going to give it to your daddy, I'm going to give it to your cousin or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Because sometimes people around you who truly care for you, truly love you, and want to see the best for you may not know your purpose. You know your passion and your purpose more than anybody else. And it's up to you to use that instinct that's in your soul, that quiet time when you're by yourself and you're thinking about something that you love to do that's positive. Not thinking about something that's crazy, y'all. Something that's positive, that's in your soul. When you're thinking about that, you know that that's your purpose. Because I can remember, my mother is the closest being to me, and she wanted the best for me for sure. She worked very hard as a teacher to make sure I got to go to good schools, make sure I, did all my studying, did all the work I was supposed to do. And I ended up being a good student and going to college at Florida A&M for a year. But when it was time for me to pursue my rap career and I was offered a contract, my mother was like, "What? Are you crazy? You trying to leave school to rap?" She wasn't too much up on rap. She's like, "You trying to leave school to rap? You got financial aid, you're in the school of business, what are you doing?" That was my dream and my passion. I knew what I wanted to do. Fast forward, she's like, "Hurry up and make a new album. I need a new car." But many times people will tell you what your purpose or what you should be doing. But you have to know what your purpose is. Finding your purpose is the beginning to your greatness. But after finding your purpose, you have to believe in your purpose. And believing in your purpose is believing in you. It's believing in yourself. It's believing in what you have and believing this is your calling. You know it with everything that you have. And it's funny, I've been rapping. Rap is a sport, is an art form that takes a lot of confidence, and you gotta feel yourself to be out there rapping. And I was out rapping and making songs that people considered classics and considered, "Oh, this is dope," and I had shows, people singing my songs. But I realized something later on that I didn't truly believe in myself wholeheartedly. And I found that out through a breakup. I was in a relationship with Erykah Badu. Y'all know Erykah Badu, Window Seat. I know Window Seat real good, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Well, through this breakup, because heartbreak could be a killer, boy, I'll tell you that much. Sometimes, guys, we don't admit it, but when we go through it, we go through it. And this was one of those moments where I was going through it, and I had to examine myself. I had to see what I was doing wrong, because sometimes in a relationship, you put all the blame on somebody else. But this was a situation where I had to take some responsibility in it first and foremost. And I also had to see what I was doing wrong, because this relationship was a reflection of me as a person in my life. So I started to look and say, what am I doing, God? What am I doing? Because it was a process, going through that pain, going through the hurt, then finally getting out of that stage, and then of grieving and just being like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because each and every situation that comes in is difficult. You can't learn the lesson if you choose to. And I was like, what am I supposed to learn from this? And what I learned about myself was that I was willing to dim my light for others. I was willing to dim the light that the Creator gave me, brighter than the lights that's sitting on y'all table. The light that just, whenever you walk in a room, it can light a room up. I was willing to dim that for others, to please others, being a people pleaser, to not offend others. I was willing to dim my light in a relationship because I didn't want to lose the person. But I realized, it's no way to live, no way to believe or truly be who you are if you don't believe in yourself. And believing in yourself definitely means that you can't dim your light for anyone. It's a quote that I use. Thank you. It's a quote that I use that Nelson Mandela used in speeches that a woman named Marianne Williamson wrote it. And it talks about, it somewhat has to do with us dimming our light. It says, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful, beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Your playing small does not serve the world. Well, I knew I wanted to serve the world in a great way, and I couldn't be small anymore. I couldn't dim myself for anybody. And it's something because it's one of those things where you like, I grew up thinking like if I confess or profess that I'm great at something, it might offend people that I'm around. It may make people feel funny or something. But you know what? I started like really understanding that that's their problem. If I believe in myself and you have an offense to it, you take offense, then that's your situation.
Yep. My
light was created not to be put under the bed, but to be put on a lampstand, so that when anybody walks in, they can see it. And it's funny, you know, how God moves in your life, because when you start going towards that direction, He'll surround you with people that have that energy, that will support that belief. And when they don't have that type of energy, you kind of notice it, and you're ready to leave them behind. Well, fortunately, as I started moving forward, one of my good buddies who I was working with was Kanye West, and y'all know he has no problem believing in himself, right? So I just started going through the process each and every day, like waking up in the morning, professing what I wanted for the day, saying what I believed in. And I can remember it was times where Kanye was promoting his first album, The College Dropout, and we were working on my album, B, and Kanye doing our listening sessions. Listening sessions are when you play music for journalists, you preview it for them so they can give a review and tell you, go tell the people, they'll blog about it. This was a little bit before blogs, 2004, blogs was there, but people would write their stories about the music. Well, during Kanye's listening sessions, he would hop up on the table and rap and be sweating and spitting when he rapped and just feeling it. And it was songs I ain't even liked that I started liking because he rapped them so hard and believed in it so hard. Belief is contagious. Belief is contagious. The more you believe in yourself, the more others start to believe. And when I say I love Muhammad Ali, it was that confidence, that faith, that belief that's like, I believe it, I'm bold, I'm black, I'm beautiful, I float like a butterfly, I sting like a bee. Seeing a black man say that during that time for me as a kid was one of the most inspirational things I could have ever seen. And that belief just floated over to me and to many other people, men and women, black and white, believing in yourself. Well, I didn't choose to do the hop up on the table when I did my listening sessions. I mean, because one thing about belief, one thing about your purpose and living your purpose, it's yours. It's yours. It's not, I'm not Kanye. The young lady out there is not Beyonce or Rihanna. Nobody's Kendrick Lamar here. We can be as great as the president, but we're not the president. We're not Dr. Martin Luther King. Each and every one of us are individuals, so we bring that individuality to our purpose. Well, when it was time for people to start listening to my albums, I just started rapping the songs because I felt my songs. And before I would have sat down and just sat quiet and just said, kind of wondering what they think. But I rapped these songs and I told them, man, listen to this, y'all. I was excited about the work that I had done. And it was the first time that I released the album and it got classic reviews, 5-star reviews. And when I released that album, it also came out and got 5 Grammy nominations, the album B. 5 Grammy nominations. So I was like, thank you. So I was like, man, this belief thing is beautiful. This belief thing is working. Same time I got my first movie, Smoking Aces. So I said, I'm just going to keep believing, keep believing. I'm on my first trip to Australia, ever in life, first trip. I just finished filming the first movie I ever done. 5 Grammy nominations. I'm walking on the beach and I'm saying, I need to get together. I got 5 Grammy nominations. I need to get together 3 speeches, at least 3 speeches, right? Well, I started working on my speeches. I got together 2.5 speeches. I figured I could freestyle the 3rd one. Fast forward to Grammy night. I got on my cream suit, my little Kango. My mother's with me the first time she ever has come to an award show. Kanye West is with his mom, Dr. Donda West, God bless her soul. John Legend is with his mom, We good music. Good music is in the building. Well, on the way to the Grammys, they announced 2 of my awards. I didn't get those 2. So I said, cool, I got 3 speeches, 3 awards. Good. Well, we sat in our seats having a great Grammy night. Kanye goes and wins 2. John Legend goes and wins 3. John Legend performs. Kanye performs. Kanye wins 2 more. They announced 2 more of the awards I was up for. I didn't win those 2. I said, what? I'm going to have to put all my speeches into one. They're going to turn the music on. You know? So, Ludacris comes out to announce Best Rap Album. And this is serendipitous because Ludacris has come to me many times and said publicly, like, hey, you're one of my favorite artists. You know, you represent hip-hop, the culture, and I grew up loving your music. So I was like, man, this is right. At least I get this one award. So Ludacris came out. Kanye turned to me and was like, you got this. I was like, yeah, I got this one, right? Yeah, feeling it. So Ludacris, you know, takes his time opening the envelope. And then he's like, yes, my man. I knew it. I was just so happy that he was like, yo, that's my man. He deserved this. He got this. So I started rising out of my seat. Give it up for Kanye West. So I'm clapping. The camera's on. You got to keep that smile on. Boy, are you feeling it. 5 Grammy nominations, you don't win 1. And your boys, we had the Grammy family party that night. They walking in with their Grammy awards. Mom on the other arm, girlfriend on this arm. John walking in with his Grammy awards, mom on this arm. I'm just walking in with my mom. She precious and everything. Well, I truly believed that I was going to get those awards. I truly believe every morsel that I had. Enough that I came up with speeches, so you know I believe. But believing in your purpose is only the second part to greatness. You have to live your purpose. And living your purpose means that you know everything that happens will happen when it's supposed to. Things come in divine time, and everything that you want may not happen when you want it, but it happens at the right time. Well, those Grammy nominations didn't, with all belief possible, praying, mom praying, it didn't happen. But that next morning we got up, and I knew I had to live my purpose. And I knew, I'm using these Grammy awards as an example of many things that can happen in our lives, that we may be on top of the world and then you go down. But that morning, Kanye called me and said, man, let's go back in the studio and let's get back to work. I said, let's get back to work. Faith. We went back in, the next album came back with some more Grammys, y'all. That's belief. That's living your passion. That's living your purpose. But it's a thing to live in your purpose, because every time you may come back and still not get a Grammy. But you got to understand that that's part of the journey. And when I talk about Grammys, let's talk about things that are even more serious, like health issues that may come up, like family members that may be lost, like financial issues that we all experience going through this whole depression that existed financially for many people. These are the things that will come up in our lives, the challenges that we must face no matter who we are, no matter how popular you are, no matter how pretty you are, no matter how cool you are, what sorority or fraternity you belong to, you will face challenges. But these challenges are there for you to grow. Frederick Douglass says, without struggle, there is no progress. So for us to progress, we are going to have to go through struggles. But it's all in how we look at these struggles, these challenges. I started to understand that when living my purpose meant that these challenges are lessons. And sometimes you got to know that when you get rejected, that's protection. Rejection is protection sometimes from certain things that just didn't need to be in your life at that time. You know? So when these health issues come up, when these difficult situations come up, or when deep situations come up, like the loss of a family member, know that there's still a lesson in it. When I talk about my cousin who I wrote my first rap with, named Ajale, God bless his soul, he died in 2009 in a motorcycle accident. I got that call from my cousin that he had passed. I couldn't believe it. This was my best friend. This would have been the best man in my wedding. And when I found out he died, I didn't get angry. I just didn't understand. And it took a while for me, to just even take time to try to figure this out. And it wasn't like I just figured it out overnight, and I just continued to pray and keep my faith and give it to God. And I started to think about Ajale's life, and first of all, appreciate that he had lived. Appreciate that I had the time that I spent with him. Appreciate how great, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be rapping. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have some of these things that I did. I started to think about the friendship we had and also who he was. He was a guy that was like, this guy that would go zip lining, and he would go like jet skiing and diving off the cliffs, and this is a black dude, you know what I'm saying? Of course, right? He my cousin, right? But I started to look at Ajale's life and say, man, this man was willing to take risks. He was adventurous. And yeah, I started to say, hey, man, I could be more adventurous in my life. Maybe not jumping off cliffs because that ain't what I want to do, but I could be more adventurous and take more chances with some of the things that I'm experiencing creatively, with some of the things that I'm just experiencing with my family. Just be more of a risk taker and not play everything safe. Even through my cousin's death, I learned some things. I was just watching this assistant coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Monty Williams. Yeah. His wife died in a car accident about a week ago. God bless her soul. And they had been married for a while. They had 5 kids. And when I saw the story, I kind of didn't want to look at it because it just was so painful to me, so I could imagine the pain that he was going through. And Friday I was watching a game, and they showed Monty Williams, Coach Williams, speaking at his wife's memorial. And he said, no, I have hurt a lot, but I have faith in God. And I know that God's plan is the greatest. So though I will miss my wife, I know she is in a better place. And I know that the Creator gave me the time he gave me with my wife for a reason. And he has her for a reason. And he started to talk about how, because in the accident, it was also another person who had pretty much caused the accident. And she died too. And he started to say, pray for her family too. Pray for her family. And me and my family and my 5 kids, we will miss my wife and their mother, but we're praying for them too. He said, we believe in forgiveness because I believe in God. And I started to realize, watching this man and his faith, that man, we can make it through anything. As long as we have breath, we can make it through anything. And when we think about greatness and how we want to, when we do reach that time where it's time for us to move on, transition, and we all gonna live a long time, so I ain't trying to put that in the air, but how do we want our greatness to be remembered? How do we want that legacy? What do we want it to be? I read this article in the New York Times, and it talked about your work resume and your eulogy resume. And that eulogy resume was something that was much greater. The writer was talking about how he met a lot of successful, rich people who didn't have an inner light in them. And he would be around them and they just didn't seem as happy, they didn't seem as great. And then he would meet people who may have been successful or not as successful by America's definition, but they had this light in them. And he just was like, where do I get this light? And he started to say he was working on himself. As I was reading the article, he was talking about, which things do you value? Like, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered for the awards? Do you want to be remembered for the movies? Maybe so. But even greater than that, do you want to be remembered for how brave you were, how you treated your family, how you treated others, what type of husband or daughter, what type of wife, what type of human being you were, a child of God? That's the eulogy resume that we all, when we talk about greatness, because greatness is something that's well-rounded. It's not just like, oh, I'm a great MC, I'm a great rapper. oh, I'm a great actor. No, it's being a great human being, being a great child of God, being a great father, being a great boss, being a great student. You know, as we experience these travels of greatness, you will still face many trials. And I want to share a passage that I use from the Bible when I come across these trials. It's James chapter 1, and I know we're not in church, but Pastor Moore, Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything.
Amen. Not
lacking anything. When we talk about greatness, we talk about being complete individuals. Great for ourselves, great for our families, great for our communities, great for the world. And I want to encourage each and every one of you, no matter how high you climb, no matter how great you become, know that there still will be challenges. But we embrace those challenges as strong women and men, saying the higher you go up the mountain, the higher the altitude becomes. And that makes it harder to breathe. But you've already came a long way. You can understand where you are at that moment. And if you need to take that time, just take time and be in that present moment, knowing how far you've come. Think about how far God has taken you. And if you can see that mountaintop, you can still keep climbing, still keep climbing. Sometimes I get to that place and I got to take that little moment to just be present, because things that I think gonna happen, they don't happen. And it could be something that's real serious, as a family member dealing with something, a health issue, or something that's real serious to me, like wanting to be a part of a certain film that I think is great. Like just recently I walked into an audition and I thought I was going to kill it. They wanted to see me, and I came out and I just didn't do good. It just didn't happen. I was believing in myself and everything. And I got into one of those spaces, those dark holes, where you just feel dark. But I remember it was this situation that happened in Chile, where there was 33 miners that was trapped in the mine, if y'all remember that. 33 miners, for 69 days they were trapped. And I remember watching that and how this story kind of affected me. Because, I was in that dark hole myself, feeling like I was trapped in a mine. And I remember watching the people that came out of the mines when they finally came out. And each one of them would get down on their knees and thank God and then go hug their family. And I was like, wait, these are some of the most important things that we have. This is the most important. It's God and our family. And then there was one gentleman that came out that was talking to a reporter. And the reporter was saying, how did it feel being down there? 33 of you all down there. How did it feel being stuck in a mine 69 days? What were you thinking? Well, I know you didn't think you were going to make it. How did it feel being down there? And the gentleman said, no, it was 34 of us down there. And the reporter said, look, man, how did it feel being down there? There's 33 of you down there. I know you were scared for your life. And the gentleman said, no, it was 34 of us down there. And the reporter said, look, man, 33 of you down there, just answer the question. 33 of you down there, man, how did it feel being down there with that situation, 69 days? Did you think you would ever see your family again? And the gentleman said, man, look, it was 34 of us down there. I saw flashes of the devil, but I knew God was down there with us. It was 34 of us down there. So I came out of that hole, and I just thanked God, and I went and hugged my family. That's all I had to do. That's all we have to do. That hole may be something financial. That hole may be something health-wise. That hole may be fear of death. That hole may be something that we're dealing with our own insecurities. But you will come out of that hole because you know God is right there with you. And as many times as you see flashes of the devil, people Instagram talking crazy about you, Many times you may see flashes of the devil, people starting this gossip about you. Many times you may see flashes of the devil, people saying, oh man, you're not going to make it in this way or that way. But you know God is there with you. And nobody can overcome God's power, which is your power. I just like to end by saying, during these times, sometimes I hear, when I'm in that fearful place, insecure place, I sometimes hear the spirit of Emmett Till saying, greatness is in you. Sometimes I hear the voice of Mr. Brown saying, you're greater than that. Then I hear my uncle saying, man, if you want to be good, you got to work at it. You got to train at it. If you want to be great, well, I'm here to tell you that greatness is in you. I'm here to tell you that you're greater than you even know right now. And I want to tell you just to work and train at it. And your greatness will be achieved. But you have to find your purpose, believe in your purpose, and live your purpose. Now, when you reach that purpose, there's something greater than you will do. And that will be to serve. And I want to share this last quote that comes from Dr. Martin Luther King about us as servants. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. And this morning, this is Dr. King saying this, the thing that I like about it is by this giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our guest, Common.